Hey guys, this is Jenna with Hill Valley Farm, and I wanted to do a quick video for you today about what we do in cold weather for our herd and our farm animals as well. We are in East Tennessee, which means we don't get a ton of very cold weather. I mean, you know, it'll go below freezing. It may stay below freezing for a couple days, and then it'll go back above freezing. So that's normal. What is about to happen in much of the country right now is a humongous cold front is coming through. And when I talk about the cold front coming here, it's nothing compared to what will be going on in Indiana, for instance, Kentucky, and just other places in the US, northern. So, but because we're not used to that, it is concerning when it does happen here. So what they're saying is it's gonna be like single digits a couple nights, teens the other nights, and the wind chill can possibly get 15 below zero. Again, that's not as bad as a lot of areas northern of here, but still our herd and us and everyone, we are not used to that. That is not something that we are used to. It is not something that our goats are used to. So here in the south, we get a little nervous, especially the other thing you have to worry about is when it drops, when the temps drop so fast. It's hard on your animals. So I wanted to go through and show you some of the things that we have done to get ready in preparation for the cold weather that's coming. So I'm going to turn the camera around. First off, I don't love heat lamps, but we have the Premier One heat lamp. Now, I have been putting all the does in this stall and in the stall next door. This door is open, but I normally shut this door and it just allows them to be, you know, split up a little bit more evenly here. And then I have a heat lamp there. Kaden and I hooked these up today. We had them in storage. I will only use this when I absolutely need to, which will be starting tomorrow night. When it gets so cold. I will probably most likely not be opening this door because of wind. And obviously we have hay feeders. Now it's almost chore time, so the hay feeders are not completely full. They're halfway full right now. But when it is super, super cold, these things will be all the way full the entire time. Because obviously when an animal eats, its metabolism goes up, and that means its body temp stays up. So, also, hello Irma, heated water buckets. It's not like, you know, where it keeps it hot or anything, but it has this chew-free cord, and it keeps the water from freezing. So, we ended up, we have that one over there, it's 2.5 gallon, and this one is a 2 gallon bucket. This is a newer one. I don't love it because it's not the flat back, but it's still going to serve its purpose for what I need. It was kind of in a pinch because I wanted to have a bucket to hang in here. So also bedding. If you'll notice, we are really not cleaned out, and the floor goes a little bit higher than the doorway over there. That's okay, because what that means is, you know, where they have the manure, and then over top is the straw. We put the straw pretty heavy, so I'm actually going to be putting more straw down, but the manure down below actually creates heat, and it helps them stay warm when they're laying down at night. And obviously the straw, more straw over it, you know, obviously keeps them dry. So it's really nice and dry in here. I don't have any problems, but I do want to make sure that there's plenty of straw. So we have more straw over here on this milk stand here, on our milk stand. So anyways, we'll be putting more straw down in here. It's really nice and heavy. Now the other thing is, I have to go in here. Hello girls. This has been a really cool thing. It is like a heated coil, and so what it is, that coil in the middle there, the 2 coils, heats up. This is an encasement and it protects whatever it's around. So what I can do, I'll show you guys over here. I'll get a bucket. So what we do is we put this down in the bucket and we plug this in. This heats up the water that's in the bucket. This keeps me from having to tote around buckets of water, hot buckets of water from the house. I do love this thing. It takes it a little bit. The description was like, within 5 minutes it'll be hot. It's not. I mean, it takes a little bit longer than that, but I just heat up. We have Gavin and I work on the heated buckets, like the warm water, whenever we're doing chores at night, if it's that cold, and it will be. So what we do is we just have a line of waters that I know have to be heated, and I heat them up one at a time while we're doing chores, and we get it done. So we have bedding, the heated water buckets, the heated coil. Also, the biggest thing though, you know, obviously we don't leave that plugged in. That would be very bad. And I do, like I said, like it because it has an encasing around it. So when I'm done, I simply stick it down into this 5-gallon bucket, and that's where it lives. And so it's really nice. The other thing, you know, we have our orchard grass hay. That's what we feed our goats. That's what I used to feed them, mixed grass, and they won't even touch that anymore. They're spoiled. So they get orchard grass. The other thing I have done, I went to the local feed store, and that's what I had already. That's the only alfalfa I had left. I got another compressed bale of alfalfa, and the reason is alfalfa is what they consider a hot hay, and so it will help, again, keep their body temperature up. And so we like to feed that on top of their orchard grass. I mean, these girls go crazy. I try not to feed a ton of it because, you know, it's not something that they're used to right now. When they're in milk, it's one thing, but they're not in milk. So, you know, you don't want to like make them freak out, but it's just enough to keep their bellies and keep them warm. And so it helps, again, with metabolism and breaking things down and keeping warm. So that's the biggest thing about the girls in here. I mean, if it's super windy, if it was really windy, I would leave them in, because that's another thing. You're wanting to keep them out of the elements. And so these girls are locked up every single night anyways, just because it's safer. Predators, it's healthier for them. So they are up in their stalls every night, all night, and then we let them out in the mornings. Now, it's great when the sun is shining because they love to get out, even when it's cold. If the sun is shining, it's really nice for them to be able to stand out in the sun. So I do let them out, and obviously it'll be in the 20s during the day, low 20s. But, you know, if it's sunny, that's actually good for them. So I do want them out, and I want them moving around because of the risk of pneumonia. I need them out and breathing and, you know, doing the things that goats do. Now, if you'll notice, all of them have their winter coats. You know, we show, and so that means we shave and all this stuff, but they're fighting so bad today. They have their winter coats now, and even especially Alice, like you can see, it's really thick, and it's almost like wool right there. So you definitely want that. Lily's a little slicker than normal. She's not as furry as she normally is, but she looks really good, and it's really thick. So I'm not worried, you know, about her. So let's move on to what we've done over at the buck area. Okay, so the bucks are always a different issue because they're over here, not at the barn. And I have been known in the past to take them to the barn when it gets, you know, in the low teens, single digits. This time I'm choosing not to do that. The reason is because their bedding is so built up in their house and I've cleaned out the kidding pens, which is where I would put them, and there's not a lot of heat that would be happening on that flooring where the kidding pens are. So I don't know if you guys have ever really paid attention to their house in the videos we've done, but this is their little buck house, and you can see it's up on blocks, and they are nuts because it's still up, it's cold, but here's the bedding. It's really nice and dry, and they have their hay feeder and their minerals here are hanging, and we normally keep the windows shut when it's cold, and so that's what we've been doing. The windows stay shut. Now this is different right here. Typically we just have the door, and I'll shut the door. Here's the door, and I'll just, it's on a hook and eye, and I swing it around and I shut it. However, because Recall is bigger than all the little boys, and we do have 4, I don't really like, oh, there's Legends. I don't really like to keep them locked up, and I don't have a water source in there. My water source for them is over there on the fence. So I don't like to shut this door ever, unless I absolutely have to, like when we're working the bucks over, trimming hooves and stuff. So what I've done is, just to keep the wind out, I've obviously put this lovely tarp here and put some cinder blocks, but I've pulled it out just enough to where they can go in and out, and I mean, I've already seen them go in and out. There's Scotsman. There's Scotsman. And there's Archimedes. He's crazy. Anyways, so they can go in and out. So they have really nice bedding. Obviously, we will make sure they have, you know, hay, just like the girls, all the time. And as well as, you know, their water source, they have a heated bucket over here. We have electricity in our chicken coop, and so it allows us to have a heated bucket, and it never freezes. It's wonderful. Now, the big thing about the bucks, they like to unplug this, and so this is why I have to kind of tie it around and rig it the way I have it, because otherwise they will unplug your heated bucket, and that's very annoying. We have another one that's not heated. It'll ice over. I probably won't even put water in it because it's just going to be too cold, and just keep an eye on this one. And so that's the plan with the boys. Like I said, I've always taken them to the barn, but this time I'm gonna do this because I feel like the bedding is a lot deeper and better. So that's what we're doing with them. Now, as you can see, we have several turkeys. We actually have Blue Slate and we have Royal Palm. There's Ollie. And we also have a mix. The darker gray one over there is a mix between Royal Palm and Blue Slate. Well, the turkeys typically sleep outside, but again, because it's going to be so blasted cold, we are going to put them over here in their new house. Now, Craig and I started this house. Caden came up with the idea of where he wanted it and what he wanted. So this is kind of his baby because he loves the turkeys. And so we have a little bitty fence over here to keep the goats out because I do not want the goats getting into the feed over here. And so it's just a little door on the fence, and it's literally just cattle panel or sheep and goat panel zip tied to some T-posts. But here is the little house. Now it's solid for the most part all the way around. There's some gaps just because we're planning on painting it and putting some batten boards on. But there's a roost, and what we've done is we put straw on the bottom all the way around to keep the draft out, you know, or at least help with the draft. We put this spool in here because the turkeys love to sleep on the spools outside, and the roost is actually right there for Caden's lovely peafowl. I don't know where they have gone to right now. Let's see. Yeah, there they are. So those are the peafowl. They're very young. We got them as chicks this past summer, and they're so cute. But, you know, we obviously want to take care of them, so they are going to be in here as well. Now, there's not a door on here, so you'll see we have a tarp tied up, and we'll just roll it down, and we're going to secure it down with this crate, because the crate is heavy, and we like to have the crate over here in case we have to haul any of our birds. So anyways, it's really kind of handy to have. So that's it. Now, we will not have water in here at night. The reason why we will not have water in here or in the coop at night is because it creates the condensation, and it can create an environment for frostbite, and that's the last thing you want on your birds. And so we will not be putting water in the coop or in the turkey house there. They go up at night. I mean, they can't see at night, so it's not like they can even really think, oh, I'm gonna go down here and get a drink of water. They can't see. So we just, you know, are gonna be very mindful to bring them we will bring them hot water out of the house in the mornings and let them drink, because they're always thirsty in the mornings. But for the chickens, our chicken coop is extremely airtight. We built it like that on purpose to keep predators out, but also for when it gets cold. And so we have windows, they're closed. We've closed the screen door, and we have also put more bedding down, like pine shavings and straw, in the coop. Their nesting boxes are nice and fluffy, and chickens are just so, they're resilient. And so it's really kind of cool that they have this really nice house. We don't have to worry about them. Now, our plan is, because we've never used that turkey house ever, this is the first winter, we will be checking on them, you know, throughout the night. And if we see that they seem cold or not right, we'll just go ahead and put the turkeys in a coop, because that's what we've always done in the past. But we built that house and we want to be able to use it. So I hope this helps you guys. You know, again, it's East Tennessee, so we're really not used to that, or used to this kind of weather. And I know our friends up in Michigan and Maine and all that, they're used to this, but we're not. And so here we are trying to expect some cold weather and just, you know, take care of the herd. Obviously, when we come out and make sure the turkeys are doing well, I will be definitely looking in on the girls. You want to look at your goats and just make sure they're acting right, make sure they're not off, make sure they're eating, make sure they're chewing their cud. You just want to be sure that they're okay. So if you have any animal like dogs or anything, I'm not talking livestock guard dogs, they love the cold and that's their job, they want to be outside. I'm talking little dogs, you know, even our cat Trixie will be coming in. She comes in at night anyways, in the winter, and so she comes in, and she will be in the garage, and she stays nice and warm and cozy there. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. And if you have anything to also suggest, or anything different that you do, let me know. This is what works for us, but I mean, we're always learning and always growing, so we have to learn and grow together. So I hope this helps you. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe and hit the thumbs up, and we look forward to seeing you in our next video. Until then, have an awesome goat field day.